The dark side of habits. How they can limit you. Habits are a powerful force in our lives. They shape our mornings, guide our routines, and influence our decisions without us even realizing it. But what if some of those habits are secretly holding you back? What if, instead of pushing you forward, they're actually keeping you stuck in place, locked in a cycle that's hard to break? Today, we're diving into the dark side of habits, the ones that put us on autopilot, limit our growth, and prevent us from evolving into our best selves. It is time to examine how habits can be more than just productive routines. They can be silent traps. And in this video, we'll uncover how to recognize them and, most importantly, break free from their hold. Part 1. The Power of Autopilot. We've all heard the saying, "You are what you repeatedly do." The problem is, most of us aren't even aware of what we're doing on repeat. Habits operate on autopilot. They're designed to save us time and mental energy, freeing us up for more important tasks. But here's the catch: when our habits become automatic, we stop paying attention to them. Imagine waking up every morning, going through the same routine, and then going to work on autopilot. You don't think about the decisions you make or the actions you take, you just do them. And that's when your habits start to take control, steering you in a direction that's not necessarily aligned with your true goals or values. In psychology, this is called habitual behavior. Our brains love it because it conserves energy. But that efficiency comes at a price. It makes us less aware of where we're actually heading. So, let's talk about how these autopilot behaviors might actually limit you. Part 2. When good habits turn into mental cages. At first glance, habits might seem like the path to success. After all, we're taught to build good habits for productivity, health, and personal growth. But here's the thing: good habits can become mental cages if we aren't careful. Take the example of someone who builds a strict exercise habit. They start with good intentions, exercising regularly to improve health. But over time, they get locked into the idea that exercise has to be a certain way, for a certain amount of time. The result? They push themselves to exercise even when their body is screaming for rest, or they feel guilty for missing a workout. They've created a cage, believing that their self-worth is tied to their habit, even if it's no longer serving them. And the same goes for other good habits. Think about eating healthy. What started as a conscious effort to improve well-being can turn into obsessive calorie counting, restricting certain foods, or constantly comparing yourself to others. These habits start as beneficial routines but can become perfectionistic traps that lead to stress, anxiety, and burnout. It is easy to see how we can fall into the trap of thinking we need to perfect our habits. But when that perfectionism creeps in, our habits go from empowering to limiting. So, how do we recognize when a habit has crossed the line from helpful to harmful? Part 3. The Comfort Zone Trap. One of the darkest sides of habits is how they keep us stuck in our comfort zones. Our brains love familiarity, which is why we fall into patterns that feel safe and comfortable. But comfort doesn't always lead to growth. Take someone who's been doing the same job for years, even though they feel unfulfilled. They may have developed habits around their routine, such as showing up to work at the same time every day or doing tasks they've done 1,000 times before. While these habits make life easier, they can also trap us in predictability, leading to a lack of challenge or motivation. This is where the comfort zone trap kicks in. You start doing what you know because it feels good, but in reality, it's preventing you from challenging yourself, learning new skills, or making progress toward your goals. It's easy to stay in a job or relationship that feels fine, but the price of that comfort is growth, and once you're out of the habit of growing, it's hard to get back on track. To grow, we need to break free from the comfort zone. But this requires recognizing when our daily habits are merely keeping us in a state of comfortable stagnation. Part 4. Unconscious habits and self-sabotage. Sometimes, the habits we form don't just keep us stuck, they actively sabotage us. Unconscious habits are particularly dangerous because we don't even realize they're happening. These are the routines we develop without thought, like procrastinating when a deadline is approaching, or automatically reaching for comfort food when stressed. These habits can become self-sabotaging, blocking us from reaching our true potential. For example, Let's talk about procrastination. Most of us have procrastinated at some point in our lives, but when it becomes a habit, it's a dangerous cycle. We put things off, we feel bad about it, and then we procrastinate more to avoid the guilt and stress. It's a vicious loop. And the worst part, we often don't even know why we're doing it. It's become a subconscious habit, built up over time. Similarly, many people turn to comfort eating when faced with stress. A bad habit like this can not only affect your health but also deepen emotional issues, making you feel worse in the long run. Recognizing these self-sabotaging habits is the first step to breaking free from them, but it requires self-awareness and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths. Part 5. Breaking Free, Transforming Limiting Habits. Now that we've explored the dark side of habits, let's talk about how we can break free from the ones that limit us, the first step in overcoming any bad habit is awareness. You need to identify the habits that are holding you back, whether it's perfectionism, procrastination, or staying in your comfort zone. Once you recognize them, the next step is to take small, intentional actions to disrupt the habit loop. This could mean starting with tiny steps, like setting a timer for focused work, or scheduling time for a new, healthy routine that challenges your old habits. The key is not to try and overhaul your entire life at once, but rather to replace negative habits with positive alternatives. Another powerful strategy is to stack new habits onto existing ones. For example, if you have a habit of checking your phone every morning, try adding something productive like journaling or reading before you check your notifications. This helps create a new routine that can gradually replace the old one. Remember, habits are not your enemy. They're tools. The goal is to take control of them so they don't take control of you. As we wrap up, I want you to remember one thing: habits are not inherently good or bad. They are simply patterns we form in our lives. The dark side of habits comes from when we become mindless, when we let them run on autopilot without considering how they align with our growth and well-being. So, take some time to reflect on your own habits. Ask yourself, which ones are serving me? And which ones are holding me back? The power to change is in your hands. Recognize the habits that limit you, disrupt them, and replace them with routines that truly help you grow. You are not bound to your old patterns. You have the power to redefine your habits and your life. Thanks for joining me today on this journey of self-awareness and growth. Break free from the dark side of habits and step into the light of your true potential. Keep evolving. Keep questioning. And remember, the power to change is always within you.